Maybe I just got it wrong. Express the feelings in a song. I didn't mean that much to you. Giving such a tainted fool. I'm not bitter, yes, this sweet. If I'm the bones, then maybe you. I'd like to spend some time with you. 'Cause everything's got its God knows it's true. I don't think that the devil knows it too. God knows it's true. I don't think that the devil knows it too. God knows it's true, but I think that the devil knows it too. God knows it's true, but I think that the devil knows it too. Singing with a different band, playing with a different hand. Somebody broke into my house and stole the words out of my mouth. Baby said I got it wrong. I sang the feelings in a song, but it don't mean a thing to you. And now she says there's nothing new. God knows it's true. I think that the devil knows it too. God knows it's true. I think that the devil knows it too.
Is the lovely, lovely sounds of Teenage Fan Club, one of my favorite bands of that I've been getting into in the last while. I mean, rediscovering, really. I mean, that was a band that someone showed me in, I think it was junior high or early high school, and I'm like into metal and going through a really like aggressive music type of like we're learning all these metal songs on guitar, all this stuff. My bands are starting to be like, you know, Lamb of God, Opeth, all these bands from that time, As They Lay Dying. I mean, Trivium. I mean, we could go on and on and on. Children of Bodom, all these bands. Just even the greats of titans of metal, Slayer, Metallica, you know, all of these old guys, Merciful Fate. We were really into all that stuff. So when someone showed us Teenage Fan Club, and we'd already loved classic rock and all this other type of stuff, we already were obsessed with the Beatles. That was kind of the first thing that really got us going. Big Star, the Stones, of course. Stones probably our favorite band of all time, number one probably. The Stones would be number one. But Wilco, My Morning Jacket, The Who, Led Zeppelin, some of these bands just right there. But Teenage Fan Club, very overlooked, very underrated. I absolutely love almost everything I hear from them. So I wanted to kind of show, I mean, that's what we really do. When we put on the intro song, we'll be like, yeah, we'll eat that copyright thing because it's worth sharing a cool song to people. And there's actually been half the time the bands that we do this with we ask permission and they'll be like, okay, cool, you can use the song. Because it's a sports show and they kind of find it funny that someone wants to use it as an intro on a sports show. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's a rock and roll sports show, bro. We bring the rock and roll. So bringing the rock and roll to you on this Sunday live. How's everybody doing? Great weekend so far. Great weekend. LSU baseball. We've got some pitchers, don't we? There's some absolute crazy good pitchers on this LSU baseball pitching staff, and a lot of people really eating their words of all the criticism from a week ago of where's this team, and Nate Yeskie is a terrible pitching coach, and oh my god, LSU so bad, blah 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 blah, and now they kind of look a little foolish. LSU baseball, Cade Anderson, man, is he going to be right up there in that Paul Skeens type of territory? You might as well see, because I think he's going to get close. Paul Skeens was rare and was special and still is doing what he's doing in Major League Baseball. But Cade Anderson, man, what a freak. And it just shows Jay Johnson, man, great coach for LSU baseball. Fantastic coach for LSU baseball. He's proving it once again that he's never rebuilt. He's just reloaded. The guy's a recruiting colossus, and you're seeing that right now. As for LSU football, sorry, my eyes have been really bugging the crap out of me with these allergies lately. Some itchy eyes. This weekend, LSU have been hosting former Houston DB AJ Halsey, and we even hit up his A&P agency, NIL agency. How's things going? AJ Halsey talking, to him, reaching out to him, and everything we have heard is it's been great. It's been fantastic. They've really had a good visit at LSU. It's really, is there going to be a last-second bid? Is there going to be a last-second, hey, you know what, Miami's about to just give you just second contract NFL money right now. They're about to change the game of NIL and recruiting right now, because they're going to pay for this guy, AJ Halsey, who's a dog, who's an absolute beast, who's a safety coming into LSU. If LSU can seal the deal here, which it looks like they're going to, I would just about bet on that. And officially, we're going to make our prediction that Halsey will commit to the Tigers. That's something that we've been ahead of many on. On3 have done great reporting on that as well. On3 have done good reporting on the Halsey situation. 247 had some good reporting on the Halsey situation. And then we had a few good stuff. So LSU media doing really good on the Halsey thing here, and really ahead of it. And Miami, there's fear from a lot of the Miami people, Miami experts, Miami coaches, Miami sources, saying, hey, LSU kind of snuck in here while we thought we were going to, there was the Miami Obama post from him where he's getting the police escort, all this stuff right through Miami's terrible traffic. And he's seeing all the golden, the razzmatazz and the flash of Miami, right? But it meant nothing when he comes and sees Baton Rouge. But not only that, but before this, AJ Halsey got a visit from Blake Baker himself. Blake Baker, Austin Thomas visited Halsey in his native of Houston. Not only did he go to the University of Houston, he's from Houston. So Blake Baker, from Houston as well, goes to Houston. We said Houston a lot in the last two sentences, by the way. He goes to Halsey, says, "Hey, bro, we need you, man." And that's before the Miami visit. Fantastic recruiting work by Blake Baker, because without that early visit, this might not be possible. Instead of like making him to come to Baton Rouge first, it was also like, let's go make an effort and say, "Hey, yo, we'll come to you if need be." Because LSU, you still are worried about that safety position. If Cooley is great, like we talked about this last week. We did a show with Zach Nagy, I believe, on Thursday, and it was like, yeah, on Thursday night. I hope you guys watch it. If you haven't, if you missed the conversation we had with Zach Nagy, I really enjoyed the show. It was a great time with Zach Nagy. I loved that there was a few moments where we basically challenged each other. There's a few moments where we echoed each other's thoughts. There's a few moments where he added things that I wasn't thinking about, and I just thought it was a great. It was basically me just giving him questions, and it was basically me hosting a show, but letting him just run with it, Zach. But then I had some things I wanted to say, and we would kind of get going on it, and I really enjoyed that. I think Zach Nagy's a great dude, and we definitely will do everything to get him back on the show, because I really liked that. I really enjoyed that. But you have a room with safeties where it's a thin room, man. You get an injury to Toviano, you get an injury to Marcus Cooley. The whole thing looks different. I mean, you saw during spring, Cooley was looking good, and then Cooley had an injury, and he was out for a few weeks during spring. And you saw Toviano and Spears, and Toviano and Joel Rogers, and Joel Rogers really came into his own during that time and made some plays, made some dog plays, right? But I still don't feel good about that room until you get in, add another piece. And AJ Halsey is going to be the piece there. That guy could be an absolute all SEC level talent, all American level talent. I'm not gonna say, oh, he's gonna come in and be an absolute superstar. But here's the thing: he's gonna come in and likely he's gonna start. I mean, that's just probably what's gonna happen, because not only is he good enough, I mean, I don't know if you've seen this guy's film, what we've been showing here, but this dude's an absolute, just a ball hawking predator when that football's in the air. He's going to go get that ball. But he's very aggressive. He's very physical. His run fit's incredible. He goes flying into those gaps, into those open spaces, and shuts people down. Absolutely annihilates people with these hits. Halsey would be fantastic for our defense, where you really want disciplined safeties, 2 disciplined safeties, so that you can do so many different things, take so many different risks with Harold Perkins and his positioning, and where you're going to blitz him from, and how you're going to blitz him, and when you're going to blitz him, and when you're going to rush him off the edge. If you want to see all that stuff, if you want to see him annihilating people in the backfield, Harold Perkins, like he should, putting Harold Perkins in that rarefied air of being a top 10, top 5, maybe even the number 1 defender in college football at his best, the most electrifying, at least, that when he's at his best, there's no one better than him in college football, Harold Perkins. And you've seen it. Nearly 5 sacks against Arkansas 2 years ago, wins the game by himself as a freshman defender. If you want to see that, you need 2 very disciplined safeties. 2 very disciplined safeties who are rooted in their spots, know their assignments, and they're not going to give up these huge, giant plays nonstop like we've seen over the last few years. We've seen way too many mistakes by our safeties over the last few years from LSU. I mean, you can even count 2019 because Grant Delpit wasn't fit the entire year. But LSU have, for the last 4 years plus, at least, have had some really bad years at safety. Major Burns allowed over 10 receiving touchdowns in his LSU career, and 6 of them came in 1 year. And guess which one it was? Of course, 2023. Andre Sam had moments where it was like, what is going on? I'm not going to just go down the list, but you know some of these names, and these guys, some of them did the best they could, and some of these guys actually weren't given the fullest maybe opportunity that they should have. Maybe these guys, some of them weren't in the right tandem. Maybe these guys just weren't in the right system or didn't have the right coach. I could see a world where someone like Major Burns actually is a good football player. I could see that. But it wasn't at LSU. I could see a world where some of these never mind. It was just god awful safety play. And if you want to not only just play a basic enough defense that can get you over the line, get Garrett Nussmeier the football enough times that we can win these games, then then you want AJ Halsey anyway. But if you really want to maximize Harold Perkins and really unleash this dude and put him right there for the all these awards at the end of the year, not only leading LSU to the precipice of a national championship, which is what should be happening when you're talking about having players like Harold Perkins, with Weeks, Davon Keys. You want great safeties to unleash those guys and let those guys feel comfortable to go all out because they know they can trust what's behind them. And if you got Halsey, you got Cooley, you got Halsey, maybe you got Toviano, Spears coming off the bench in rotation, and he's hungry for reps, so he's given everything on every single play. Maybe he's going for interceptions more than he usually would. He's not playing so soft and hesitant. He's going out there with some calculated risks and wanting to take some people's heads off, because that's what I want to see from Deshaun Spears. Toviano, we finally see the 5-star out of Martin High really fulfill the potential that he's always had at LSU. Wasn't given the right opportunities. Maybe was played at corner too long. Maybe he wasn't a corner to begin with. Maybe he was always a safety, as former LSU safeties coach Kerry Cooks once told me when he was coaching at LSU. He told me, hey, I love Toviano, but he's really going to be a safety. Next year he's going to be practicing with me every day, and I can't wait. I'm excited to really develop him and see where he goes as a safety. And as you saw, that didn't really quite come to fruition. So LSU, they're in a position here where they need this guy. I'm not going to say, if we miss on Halsey, it's okay. I don't think it is. I think when you have a guy like this on the table, and he's right there for it to happen, and I'm told at any moment this could happen. I mean, it could have probably happened 20 seconds ago, and maybe I'm just too busy watching this instead of looking at my phone. And but yeah, it's everything's supposed to be moving in a positive direction with this young man coming to LSU. Hermload says, loved last show. Thanks for fulfilling our request with Zach Nagy on the show. Zash Nagy, you spell it wrong. With an X. Nice typo. I love it. I know. I'm just giving you crap, Hermload. Yeah, of course. When I saw that, a few of you, I think it was King Cole, Adams. I'm not sure if it was you, Hermload, but it was a few people were like, "Hey, get Nagy." Someone said, I think you and Zach Nagy are the two with the only pulse on this team, or something like that. So I was like, that's interesting, because if you think he's really got the pulse on this team, I haven't quite heard what he's had to say that much about the team because I've been doing what I do on the team. And so I wanted him to come talk and kind of give his like, hey, this is what I feel like LSU is doing and where they're headed this season. And maybe we didn't cover as much ground as you would have liked. That's why we can do another show, and hopefully he will agree to doing another show because I would love to. So we'll invite him on, and hopefully he'll come back on because it seems like we got a good crossover audience as well. And I know it's baseball season, so there's a lot of you who are watching LSU baseball right now instead of watching this. And I get it. And we've been used to this for a few years. And our audience numbers and our, all that stuff goes up exponentially when football season's back in session. But please, if you support us in fall, at least give us a like and a share in spring, even if you're too busy to watch. It's very, very, very appreciated. And see, that's the thing why is because we will actually deliver things that we won't just go, oh, we don't like that person, we're not going to have them on the show. If you guys want certain people on the show, whether I like them or not or whatever, like I'm going to have them on the show. I'm going to have the conversation. We aren't afraid to cover a topic. We aren't afraid to talk about something that's maybe a little intense, a little divisive, maybe a little, just the difficult topics of this game. We are not afraid to go into it. So hopefully LSU can get this dude AJ Halsey, because he's something else, man. He's so good. He's so good. I don't think we've been sleeping on,
especially for him.
Sorry about that. I don't think we've been sleeping on Nick Anderson, former Oklahoma receiver. But I don't think we've talked about him enough here at LSUODYSSEY.com. So here I'm going to. And his profile will be coming out soon in the next little bit here, as we've been, doing with as many players as we can possibly do. We're going to write 2025 profiles like we have every single year for most of the team, if not everyone on the team. And Nick Anderson's someone that has kind of gone under the radar for us because we have been very excited by Barian Brown, another transfer receiver. We've been very excited by, the arrival and the absolute trajectory of Tamarcus Cooley. We're talking about all these other transfers, Jack Pyburn's leadership and some of his edge rushing abilities. Bauer Sharp being not just a great blocking presence and like a really good dude, like a dude who's really tight with Garrett Nussmeier already. But this guy and Nuss have a receiving connection that is fantastic as well. So you cannot sleep on that guy as an absolute X factor for us next year. But when you're looking at Nick Anderson, you've got to love what you see because, like Chris Hilton Jr., he's a big play dude down the field. Big play. Averaged over 20 yards per catch during his best season at Oklahoma in 2023 before 2024 was marred by injury. So, yeah, we haven't seen Nick Anderson in the SEC. That's true. But that was not anything he could control. He was out for the season. Nick Anderson is a big play monster, though. And he's just another weapon that it just seems like falls under the radar for this offense that could really be special this year. I mean, when you're looking at the fine print of the weapons on this offense, you got a guy like Bauer Sharp who led this same Oklahoma team in receiving without Nick Anderson. And then in 2023, you had Nick Anderson, who was the leading receiver for the Oklahoma Sooners as well. So we've got the two last leading receivers for the Oklahoma Sooners playing on our roster. Do I need to repeat that? I mean, that's complete ownage of Oklahoma. Your last two leading receivers are now on our roster. And we haven't even talked about him that much when you're talking about Nick Anderson. And Nick Anderson might just be the best of the bunch. Big play dude. He's going to make big catches at big points and big plays in the game. He's an absolute downfield monster. An aerial assassin. A go up and get it merchant. I mean, this dude, I love what I see from his film. I love what I see from him now that he's had a few months at LSU and how his body has developed for LSU with LSU's strength and conditioning, physical conditioning staff, with Jake Flint, with everybody. And I really love the direction he's going in as a player right here. He's taking those steps. He's getting stronger, it seems, every day. His connection with Nussmeier is improving. That's the thing that maybe is the last thing that's lacking, is that connection with Garrett Nussmeier. And that'll just come with even more reps, more and more reps. And once again, the media isn't able to see every single thing that happens. You know, even if we're able to film every single practice and every second of every single practice that they let us go to, there's still those practices that we don't get to see. And while sometimes we can still do a thing or two to get around certain things, to see what is going on, you're not privy to every single thing that the team is doing behind the scenes, no matter how connected you are. And especially with how this staff is, LSU staff, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of misdirection. There's a lot of times that staff members will try and form a relationship with media members to steer them in a completely wrong direction for a story, which I have experienced firsthand. And that type of stuff has happened. You know, that's the type of games that the modern coaches are kind of like, here, we're going to fight fire with fire. But from everything you see, I don't know how you can't say this offense isn't loaded to an absolute T. And when you're talking about Aaron Anderson returning as the leading receiver for LSU last year, returning fourth, I think it was, third in the SEC with yards, top 5 as well for catches, Aaron Anderson. And now you've added Barian Brown, Nick Anderson, Destin Hill, former Louisiana native Destin Hill, who's an absolute skyscraper, aerial-wise. You really have an absolute bevy of weapons. Chris Hilton Jr. really in those last 4 games came on and just lit everything up. You've got some absolute weapons. Tradez Green, 4 red zone catches, 4 red zone touchdowns. All 4 touchdowns for him came in the red zone. Can you stop him in the red zone? Not yet. You haven't been able to. So maybe LSU solves some of those red zone worries. You've got Caden Durham as a running back / weapon in the receiving game, who can make a major difference with just one catch, one move. He can be gone. This is an offense. This is an LSU offense that really could come close to those 2019 records. Like, just on paper, looking at everything that LSU has, all the talent on this team, all the production that is on this team, what Barian Brown did at Kentucky, what Aaron Anderson has done for LSU, what Xavier Thomas has done at Mississippi State and LSU. You've got so much speed there. You've got so many receivers that have the chance to be that number 1 guy. You've got, Kylan Billio, who can barely even get a rep. Kyle Parker, who started 3 games last year before injury, and he's looking for, on the outside looking in for reps. People are talking about maybe he could be transferring. Teron Francis is another, a freshman superstar who might not even get a rep this year. LSU are absolutely loaded at the receiver position, and I think this is without a doubt the deepest receiving core that Cortez Hankton has ever deployed at LSU. But not only that, Joe Sloan, who we're pictured with right there after the USC game, they're us with us in Vegas. Joe Sloan, Cortez Hankton, they have a big responsibility with this team, just like Garrett Nussmeier does, just like all these other guys do. These pillars of this team. We got to get the offensive line right. We got to figure out the blocking. We got to figure out all that stuff up front in the trenches, of course. Brad Davis, Alex Atkins got to get in the lab and get this thing figured out. But from a 10,000-foot view, Garrett Nussmeier, Joe Sloan, Cortez Hankton, these guys, they have to have one hell of a year. And here's the thing. If they do, we might not have Joe Sloan very much longer because he's about to go be a head coach somewhere. We might, Garrett Nussmeier is about to go be a top 3 draft pick in the NFL draft next year, maybe number 1 overall. You've got potential for some guys to be absolute superstars for LSU this next season on offense. And I don't think that's crazy. I don't think I'm talking in hyperbole here. I don't think I'm really saying anything that's crazy. Because look at the production. Look at the majesty of weapons. Caleb Jackson, who was the freshman breakout as a running back in 2023, has been relegated to the second guy. And he's your second guy. And you thought he was going to be your next 1,000-yard your next 1,000-yard back, your next do-it-all running back, your next superstar, and now he's your second guy. So the point is LSU are loaded offensively, loaded. And if this team do not hit these goals, as far as double-digit wins, getting in the college football playoff, going on a run, getting close or winning that national championship, as LSU should be doing at least once every 5 years, you'd think, right? If they don't, it's going to be because this offense, once again for the second straight year, fell flat on their face, left, Garrett Nussmeier's right arm to basically throw us through a wall into every game and basically to bail us out of every terrible situation that we've gotten ourselves in, play calling wise. Wasted opportunity after wasted opportunity in the red zone. We can't do it. I don't care if you don't want to give Trey'Dez Green 6 touchdown catches in a game. If they can't stop him from catching the football in the red zone, and we can't run it in for the second straight year from like a few yards out, even with Caden Durham, we just can't run it in for the second straight year no matter what we do. I don't care. Throw it to Trey'Dez Green 6 times, get him 6 touchdowns a game. I don't care. I don't care how LSU does it to put points on the board, but this offense should be doing it. This offense should be a high-flying offense, passing-wise. But there's every potential when you're talking about Alex Atkins higher, the smoothing over those blocking schemes. You're talking about a lot more blocking movement. You're talking about a lot of pulling of the guards, pulling of the tackles, counter plays, misdirection type of runs, stuff that will really favor Caden Durham's cutting and really aggressive cutting and speed abilities really well. Those type of plays are very good at masking 1v1 deficiencies in your offensive line and really masking any of the problems while like taking advantage of maybe some athleticism and speed that isn't going to matter when you're 1v1 blocking, right? But if you're able to flip the mismatch, flip the matchups and get guys on the move horizontally blocking, and you got a guy like Caden Durham getting the way cleared for him, you're talking some serious powerhouse running game. So LSU could be a controlled type offense at the end of games, a high-flying offense to put the immediate initial points on the board to kind of shock and awe teams. So you could have a great formula here where you shock and awe teams in the first 3 quarters. And then when it comes to fourth quarter time and you have a 7, 8, maybe 10-point lead and you need to kill a game off, you can run the football and you can pound the football with that offensive line because it doesn't matter the matchups anymore. We've gotten smarter with Alex Atkins. We've gotten smarter with Joe Sloan. We've gotten smarter with this offensive line where we can get guys moving and run the football that way. I think that's only going to favor LSU. So I think you're going to see some vibes here where you've got a high-flying, pass-happy offense that, really says, hey, Garrett Nussmeier has the best passing arm in college football. We are fools if we don't take advantage of that. 60 touchdowns, that's crazy. But you know what? He's going to put up a lot of numbers. I'm just going to say that. I don't know how many he's going to put up. Probably before the season, you'll get a prediction out of us. But my God, I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to really rack the numbers up. LSU's defense. We're going to make a quick comment on this. LSU's defense, like we were saying before, you get AJ Halsey at safety. You can really do a lot. You can do a lot more now that you have 2 veteran, 2 trusted safeties back there with Harold Perkins. And so I'm looking for a creative defense this season. I'm looking for a spicy, violent, intense, aggressive defense this season. We'll be talking to you all later. Everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for subscribing. We'll be doing a show later on. We've got some crazy shit planned for the next few weeks, and we cannot wait for you all to see what is unveiled and comes. But here's the thing. News pops at any moment. We'll be there. Push the notifications. You'll be wanting to tune in here. Trust me. Everybody, thank you all. Have a good rest of your Sunday night, and we're going to have a kick-ass week this week. Don't let anything get in your way, and keep rocking to the free world, baby.